I have actually followed you since a very long time, not just because you are somebody on LinkedIn, but there's a history to what you have been doing in the world of digital marketing, how you have come so far. And I remember sitting in my full time job and thinking, oh, this is how much digital marketing can grow. And I've seen your journey, I've seen your stories, I've seen so much about you that, after a couple of influencers in this space, I used to think of you. And you are one person I've always discussed about with my mentor. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to send this video before I send it to the story team to him to tell him that I finally had a word with you. You're very underrated, by the way. I am not even sure how many of these LinkedIn influencers and the new people know about you, but oh my God, thank you for doing what you've done. And I welcome you to this show by story.
Thank you for being so generous and kind, and pleasure to be here. This is a very interesting format, and looking forward to it.
Great. So, my first question has to be this: what makes you you? What has made you stick by with the industry for so long, building sustainable businesses and doing what you love, and still not wiping out of the market? Because I've seen so many gurus, people, institutes, agencies coming and then going within a year. What has made your success so sustainable?
Okay, sure. So let me share the background. I
Sure.
would say our my journey of being an entrepreneur or into digital marketing and in education for last almost 20 years is more accidental, or the beginning is accidental for all of that. So how it had happened was after graduating from IIT, I worked in TCS, and I was then I had got a job in US, and I was waiting for my visa to go to US. That was 2000, early 2000, late 2000, almost this time, September 2000, 21 years ago. And two of my batchmates from IIT Delhi, we had a discussion, and we made more of a quick impromptu decision of starting something of our own. So I changed my plans for going to US and thought of, okay, this is, I can always take up a job, I can always go there, but this opportunity of doing something of our own looks far more fascinating and exciting. So I made that call. Fortunately or unfortunately, none of us had a business background. Our family didn't support. We didn't have money. We didn't have even experience. So we started with, okay, all of us were in IT. We thought of, let's do something. And we thought of starting some projects in IT services. So we started meeting people. We didn't get anything. And that was the time when dot-com bust had happened. So everything in IT, internet was collapsing. So we were getting more frustrated. Family was even more after us, that why did you make this decision? Job is still there. So what had happened was, at that point in time, one of our friends suggested that at that point in time, Java as a programming language was owned by Sun Microsystems. Now it's part of Oracle. The certification exam for Java had changed, the pattern had changed. So he had suggested, why don't you make a product for that? We were also thinking that's what we know. Anyways, frustration was sinking in. So we thought, let's do that. So, one of us decided to look into technology, one of us decided to look into content. We created a product in around a couple of days, and we had no idea how to promote. So we thought of what all will we do. We didn't have money also. So one thing we thought was, at that point in time in Mumbai, Times of India used to have a supplement called Computing Times. So we thought of giving an ad in that, and we thought when the ad will come, people will visit our website, and that will be a great beginning. We put, I think that point in time it costed around 10,000. So we booked the ad. Uh, Next day morning, we were waiting for visitors to flock into our site. The time passed by, nothing happened. We thought that probably they missed publishing the ad, but we checked and they said it's published. And we realized it was of no use. Then we started distributing pamphlets around us in Delhi, thinking that people who are into IT, their parents will probably notice, and this certification exam has certain value, they would want to register or buy our product to prepare for that certification. That also didn't result in any any interest. Then we thought that NIT AppTech centers were across Delhi. Let's visit them because they have access to the students we want to buy our product. Uh, so we visited around 150 such centers across India. Wearing coats in scooter, couple of weeks with CDs, giving them. Nothing happened. Now it was almost time that nothing is working out. Services, other efforts we were doing were not resulting in anything, and we had almost decided that we will probably quit. But one fine day, we came to office in the morning and saw someone had bought our product from US, and almost 3 to 5 times the price we were trying so hard to sell in India. And later we realized that first sale had happened through, now we know, search engine optimization or SEO. We didn't even know then that we had put certain content without knowing anything. So through search engine optimization, someone found us. I don't even remember Google was there or not, or Yahoo or Microsoft, one of those, or there were many more search engines then. Someone saw us through search engine, searching for a keyword like Java certification, found us, and bought the product. That was the beginning, and where we saw, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So then we started, getting into what is this, learning more about it, and then it moved very fast. We could have $40,000. I remember in the first year, all international, sitting in one place in Janakpur in Delhi, or not even there, some other residential place in Pashchim Bihar. And sales were happening online in dollars. The amount was, that was big at that point in time, and we continued to then grow. We could have dominating positions across all keywords. Even like domains like Cisco certification, Cisco site would be much after us. We would be ahead of Cisco. We would be ahead of Sun Microsystems in rankings. So that's how we got into digital marketing, and that was accident. Education was also that way we got into EdTech as a space to help people prepare for ID certifications. So both of them, and even the decision of starting something of our own was more impulsive. So that's the beginning of our journey, and I think all these areas have been close to our heart. Education, digital marketing, and being an entrepreneur, we live by, and we continue to do that. So all of these threads have been bounded in everything we have done in last 20 years, and I think that's the plan is we continue to do the same, remain in these spaces.
Amazing. That one takeaway that I have from this story so far is you were very persistent. I can't imagine visiting 100, 150 institutes and hearing no continuously. I would have given up. And I think this has come in time because I was going to give up on one of my biggest clients just because it was out of my comfort zone. And I'm just getting a message from their HR, but I'm pretty sure now I'm going to pass it. But that's the thing. It was accidental, but then how was it sustainable? How did you know that now you have to start this? And like, I have a lot of questions, but I want to go it this candidly. What was the timeline of everything? So you started earning out of this venture, and then what happened next?
Sure. So I would add another critical milestone in the beginning, which played a very important role in our journey. So we started, and it didn't happen overnight. Even once we got our first sale, personal survival, sustenance was very difficult because of family pressure, peer pressure. All of our batchmates were doing very well. Most of them were in US. We didn't have even money to go for a movie, and things were very, very slow. So we had then even decided that let's give up. So what had happened was, but we thought of taking a break. Three of us actually went to Shimla and thought that let's take a break and then we'll come back and most likely we'll wind up because things were not moving fast for us to sustain enough. When we came back, we saw, things moved much faster than when we were there. So we had a very small team, and we realized that I probably we have not given other people chance to show what they can do. So, like without us, rest of the 2 3 people did far better. That was another, kind of a light we saw. Then we, gave accountabilities, responsibilities to other people, and that along with our newly acquired accidental skill in digital marketing fueled the growth. So then it moved fast. I think until 2006-7, it continued well, and then we got kind of bored of the business, and so then we thought of doing something else. Two of us had moved on. Uh, One of us continued, and there is a very interesting story of they became coming back. So for a short period, we had taken a break, exploring something else, but then we came back. So we tried an area in digital marketing, but we left that. We came back to our first venture with Labs, took it over, and so that's the journey of our first business with Lab Software, which started 20 years ago. Now, while we took it over, we were still thinking what should we do next or something more. We were, informally, more casually sharing our experience in digital marketing with other professionals, our batchmates, fellow entrepreneurs. And again, someone suggested that why don't you do it formally? Because this skill is going to be used by a lot of people. If you share that, it will be extremely valuable. So more out of passion, we started doing, I remember 2 days workshop on social media marketing, starting with Delhi in 2009 end. Yeah, January 18th or some date, we did our first workshop in Noida, of a social media marketing workshop when Facebook was more like a buzzword then. So we started with that, and we saw a lot of people were interested. It was very much needed. People were not aware of even the channels. Even ourselves, we were also learning. So that was the beginning of Digital Vidya. So we started from a workshop. We used to travel across India. My partner and I, sometimes he would travel. Initially, both of us used to travel. Then it became, tough to, every week we are traveling. It became very challenging. We have to sell, we have to deliver. So we realized that it's not going to scale if we continue to do it in a workshop format, lead ourselves. And digital marketing started evolving as well. Social media buzzwords started expanding to other areas. The interest for other areas like online advertising, search engine optimization started coming back, with other internet companies starting. So the overall need got expanded from social media skills to digital marketing skills. So we then launched a full-fledged digital marketing certification program, which is now our flagship program. And we realized that workshop is good when it is initial introduction, information, some knowledge is needed, and that did its job. But for someone to really acquire a skill which they can apply, it's not information, it's not just knowledge. So we'll have to create a course structure where people are not just learning knowledge, acquiring that information, but practicing to put that learning into action so that they build that as a skill. So there we launched a full-fledged, initially with 3 months instructor-led online course in 2000, I think 12 or 13. And then I think we continued expanding that. So that's how Digital Vidya took its shape. And we did a lot more. We partnered with Facebook, we partnered with LinkedIn, co-created content, and there's a lot more. I hope it gave you a sense of the journey after.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is such an eye opener that now I see your success. And I came across digital marketing in 2017 when I was just out of my college, and I was given a very nonsense sales job, and I was like, why are they doing things like this? Why are they making me reach out to people on LinkedIn and stuff like that? And then I came across Deepak Kanakraju, and then I got to know that there's something online. So there's online marketing, and that's when I stumbled upon digital vidya, and the entire world changed. There was so much to explore. Even when I was reading the course content, like what's covered in the courses, it was so insightful that I was like, okay, this is some other world, and I'm not sure how I'm going to venture into it and stuff like that. I belong to that generation that has learned digital marketing because of your company. So thank you so much. And another thing is, I really love the point wherein you mentioned you got bored of the business and you took a break. That's not what a lot of entrepreneurs would accept. I won't call myself as an entrepreneur, but 2 3 years of freelancing, and I have just felt that in the past few months that it's very monotonous and everybody's asking for the same leads, same results, this and that and everything. They're not trying unconventional stuff, and now the pandemic that has happened, everybody wants strict results and everything. It was just getting boring until I've met a very few nice clients and everything. But yes, it's okay if you get bored of your business. If it's actually boredom, you'll come back. If it's actually detachment, you'll move on. So thank you for mentioning that, because that's a very big relief for entrepreneurs who are just starting out and thinking with all the pressure that, oh my god, I'm not liking my business, I'm such a bad person and stuff like that. So yeah. And then when you opened digital vidya, and it opened the floodgates and everybody was coming, becoming students and everything, did you ever feel that you have done a very great thing or something like that? Because this was, you were at the inception of digital marketing in India, right? The When people were seeing Neil Patel, Deepak Kanakraju kinds of personal brand, digital vidya was one of the biggest you know company brands that I would say, that came into being and taught people what has to be done. And since then a lot of fake gurus and stuff has come. How have you seen the industry the evolution of the industry, and how do you think it is now, and what's the future?
Sure, good questions. So one, as I had shared, while we were leading workshops ourselves, we realized that we would need to take it beyond us. It's not going to sustain if we keep doing it ourselves. Uh, while we were leading, so people were associated with us. One of the things from the very beginning was we would never put our name as a personal brand, above the organization.
Yeah.
So Digital Vidya always remained in the front. That was one reason it became very easy and even surprisingly for us to move away from leading our programs. We were very skeptical initially. If we stopped, leading, would people be interested? Would we be able to deliver value? But since Digital Vidya as a brand was there, it was exceptionally easy for us. And we also realized that digital marketing being so vast, what is very important is, given our objective was not to just, deliver information or knowledge, we would need people who are practicing respective areas day in, day out. And we ourselves cannot be practitioner of everything. While we have always been hands-on, it's not that we are aware of the latest tool in SEO as well, in social media as well. We know Google Analytics in depth. So that was the time we started, and there was a need anyways of having more people take the leading role. So then we started getting people leading the programs. So we started, people start co-leading with us the workshops as well. That's how the beginning happened. And then once we launched the course, we created the course in different modules, and each module had a respective program leader. And there were very few people who had significant hands-on experience at that point in time, but I think we needed that many only. So we got great practitioners who got associated with us, who started delivering those programs in an online format. We continue to own the overall content structure, curriculum, but they were the ones who were anyways using that area day in, day out. So it became relatively easy because Digital Vidya brand was there, and we moved away. We were leading also initially corporate workshops, so we used to personally lead for various brands like Citibank, almost various top brands in almost all verticals. We used to initially lead, then we got people who started leading, and that also was very smooth. The reason being the kind of people who were delivering, they were practitioners, and Digital Vidya brand was there, so the feedback was actually better than what we were doing ourselves. So that further validated and reinforced the idea that we should have others who are practitioners. So that is one shift which happened, that you talked about brand. Another thing which is I think very important for anyone else, from outside this looks very, very fancy, very glamorous, digital marketing, and also the entry barrier is very, very low.
Yes.
On day one, every individual is an expert, every organization is an expert. One reason is all of us are users of this industry. So it's not that technical knowledge which you need to acquire to even start talking. You are anyways using Facebook. So after a certain point in time, everyone was a user. So it became very easy, or it is very easy to be, speaking about digital marketing. But there is a significant difference between talking about digital marketing versus being a practitioner and imparting that learning so that other person acquire that as a skill. And that was very much needed. That's why we moved out and we got people who were doing it. And that's one of the things we have seen, because there is no entry barrier. So many people, individual institutes came in, and I think significant percentage of them could not survive for the same reason. One, it looked, so big a market. There is like everyone wants to learn, and it appears that it's so easy, but reality is not what it appears. Everyone faced, and I think many of them could not sustain. So that's, I think, one thing which is very critical. That will now it continue to be more competitive.
Yeah.
And so that's why it becomes even more important to have a program which is required by the industry, which makes a real difference in people acquiring skills which they can put into action. So we continue to use our learning, being connected with everyone in the industry, being at the center of the ecosystem, and with all the practitioners who continue to lead our programs. We continue to evolve. Even every few days the program gets changed based on what's happening latest in the industry, which wouldn't be possible if we were ourselves just leading, delivering, because we cannot know what's happening. So I think that's very much needed now. So there is a various kind of shift which happens. So initially, I remember when we talked about social media workshop, a lot of parents used to. So there were a lot of students interested in learning, but their parents would come and say, "You will pay money to be on Facebook. We are anyways struggling for you to be, away from Facebook." So Facebook as a profession, Facebook as a skill was very, very contradicting with the minds and views of especially parents. From that to today, Facebook, the way it is looked at, or the way LinkedIn is looked at, has significantly shifted. So the need has changed. So I think that will continue to change. Like, for example, one of the things which becomes important now is not just learning. People are looking at getting some kind of accreditation from a university. So one of the big changes which is happening in the professional skilling space, non-IT, I would say, is that association with academic institution becomes important. That name becomes important. While I would say that's just a part of it, a lot of people make decisions just based on that, while that plays a role. But I think far more important than that is the underlying program. But that is the need of the hour. So that is allowing or kind of forcing us also to shift. So we are in the process of launching programs with a few international universities. I think one of the programs should go live most likely next 1 week. So that's the shift which is happening. I think we'll see more shifts. And since we are connected ourselves, hands-on, in touch with all of our program leaders who are doing it day in, day out, we have a structure to evolve as the change happens.
Got it. And that gets me to my next question. When you were involving people in your business and everything was happening, you never feared competition? Because I have seen wherever there's delegation, wherever there is some kind of the data of the company shared, the exclusive and explicit reports are shared, the new age founders are very much scared of the competition, that they're sharing too much maybe and their ideas can be replicated. But the thing is, if you're in service based industry, if you're teaching something, you can't be everywhere, or else it won't be scalable. It's not a SaaS. So it's always a choice between competition, giving out too much, or scaling well. And you of course chose to scale, and it has scaled phenomenally. And it's so great to hear that you're also tying up with some of the best universities and you've done it for a lot of corporates, but you never feared that competition?
I think it's the other way around. So one, competition has always been there after, I would say, initial few years, and that would be there, and it's great because that really moves the market. Like as I shared, when we were to pitch the idea or the concept of learning Facebook, it was very tough when we were doing it ourselves alone.
Yeah.
Telling a parent that your son should learn Facebook, very, very difficult. So when there are more people doing that, it helps. So that's, I think, we've always believed that in both the organizations or anything we do, competition really helps grow. But I think the other aspect, as I shared, it's not about information. It's not about content. So all of our content could be available, like when we deliver our instructor-led programs live, someone can completely record it. But if that content were to deliver value, there is huge amount of very high quality and almost freely available content in digital marketing available on tons of platforms. So if that content would have made the difference, it would have. Or for that matter, if you look at MBA, what we learn is not content in the educational institute. It's much more than that. The structure, the projects. So the way our program is designed, and more important, the program leaders. So there are 35 program leaders who lead our program. That cannot be copied, right? So someone will have to build that, and then ongoingly changing that based on what's happening in the industry. Then having those 100+ hours of practical assignments, which people do, which gets assessed, which needs to be ongoingly updated. If someone can do it, great. I think welcome. They should. That will help grow the industry. But otherwise, just copying it, and that's what a lot of people did probably. Like looking into, okay, this company is having these many modules. We saw there are people saying 40 modules are sold at this price. So, and we could see that, especially for outsiders, it became difficult. They started evaluating 2 courses based on the number of modules. Now, the same one module could be divided into 10 more. That's not the point. But yeah, we never, looked into just changing ourselves based on what others were doing. But yes, we learned a lot from what others were doing. Our competition, and in fact 2 of the competitors became part of Digital Vidya as an organizations as well. So I think we're very happy that other players started in. Otherwise, it would have been more difficult for us to share this, concept of spending time on Facebook for work.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's so good to be part of something when it's just starting off, because it's difficult to convince everybody around you that's going to work out. And now when my cousins talk about NFT and stuff, and we're like, they're just wasting money, I hope it becomes something big, because we've wasted a lot of money. But anyways, do you think, because now people say marketing is the new engineering, everybody is learning digital marketing as if they were learning digital marketing years back. They were learning engineering and enrolling for engineering courses years back. Do you think it's saturated, or do you think for agencies, for institutes, and for professionals, there's still a lot of scope?
Okay, so I think the scope is there and scope will always be there. One, it is marketing, right? So one of the mistakes a lot of people do, even organizations, when we initially started doing programs for corporations, was people started digital marketing more as a technology vertical. Like the way companies outsource IT, they thought of outsourcing digital marketing. That never worked because it's marketing. No one would be able to understand your customer better than you.
Yeah.
Even if you outsource to an agency, I would say both are fine. You build an in-house team or outsource to an agency, both are fine. But in either case, especially when you outsource to an agency, you have to be an integral part of it. Otherwise, the relationship is going to fail, even if you have the best of the agencies.
Correct.
So, because it's marketing, no one would know your customer better than yourself. So, unless you are involved, like you think about what are the right channels, what should be the overall strategy, what are the pain points, what kind of content should be created, because content is talking on your behalf. If you just outsource, okay, 100 pieces of content, that won't work because the agency would never get the pulse of your customer. So that way, I think it's very, very important that you treat digital marketing as part of marketing. Since marketing has always been there, marketing will always be there.
Yeah.
There is huge scope of still shifting budgets from traditional to digital.
Yeah.
Digital will never replace core or overall marketing. It should never. But the criticality, the budget, the importance of digital marketing in overall marketing would continue to grow. Pandemic has further increased the number of users on this medium, the amount of time being spent, starting with so young kids. So it's only growing. So for agencies, for professionals, for academic institutions, I think definitely there will be a scope.
All right. And which is one platform that you always swear by, that, okay, तुम्हें पूरा digital marketing नहीं सीखना. And this is also an evolution, by the way, that initially 5, 7, 10 years back, when people were selling courses, it was all digital marketing and then everything in one course. And now they've segmented. There's LinkedIn marketing, there's Facebook, Instagram. But is there one platform that you swear by, that if you're doing organic or paid media, probably this platform, like you should master it first because it's not going anywhere?
Sure. So one, I think, great question by the way. If you want to do really well, ongoingly, sustainably, long term, you should know all because they are connected. But rather than starting with, okay, this is a channel, the inquiry to this question should begin with, where is my audience? And that can change, right? For example, Facebook would be a great medium for products which are not so technical, where the decision is impulsive, where the audience is more in a social environment, versus LinkedIn. So it's not that, and that's a mistake people do. Okay, I know Facebook well, but if you're in a business where your audience is on LinkedIn, then use, just focusing on Facebook, Facebook will not help.
Yeah.
So and that's why I say it's digital marketing still starts with the fundamentals of marketing, which is, who is your audience? Where are they? You go where your audience is versus trying to get your audience where you are.
Yeah.
So that is the way one should think. Having said that, the choices between mediums, for example, I think search engines would always remain important, because unless for ideas which are very new, where the concept is also new, people are not yet searching for it, as long as there are searches happening on search engines between paid and organic, I think organic beats paid hands down. And we have seen ourselves, that's how we began. So if you can, continue to grow in SEO, organic natural search, nothing is better than that. But algorithm changes.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's very, very unpredictable. You may not be able to even get why you get penalized, especially when you are starting or not so, build large, in depth, where it's very difficult to shake you. But still, those, breakdowns happen in SEO world. So only dependency on SEO is also not great. But between the choices, SEO is far, far, far better than paid.
Yeah, got it. Makes a lot of sense actually. People are never leaving to search for things. So it is here to stay. And probably like TikTok, any other platform can go away. But search engines, probably we can change the search engine, but the search is always there. So concentrate on that. Yeah, that's nice. And what do you think about LinkedIn? Because we found you via LinkedIn and everything has been via LinkedIn, and we are more concentrated on that at that around that platform. So what do you think about LinkedIn? What do you think about personal branding on LinkedIn? And yeah.
Sure. I think it's a great platform. I don't remember when did I join LinkedIn, maybe around 12, 13 years ago. But I think LinkedIn initially started more as a job database, or that's how it started. It has significantly shifted. Like Facebook used to be pure social, LinkedIn used to be pure professional. Both have come closer to each other,
Yes.
yet maintaining their individual identity.
Yeah.
Like videos, those kind of, humorous, a lot of that kind of content never existed in terms of format and people posting it. And the opportunities to post were very limited initially. There were groups, company pages came later, post individual posts. So all of those things have evolved over last more than a decade. But I think it's a brilliant platform. Multiple, I have got phenomenal value out of it.
Oh,
And but yeah, I think one of the critical aspects of LinkedIn, I would say, or the foundation of LinkedIn is the quality of your network.
hmm.
Because what you do on LinkedIn, whether you are posting something or you want to connect with someone, like participation as a post in a group, how many people will see that or engage with that is a function of the network you have. For example, when I started, I might have few hundred people connected. Today it's close, yeah, there's a limit of 30,000. So if I post then versus today I post, the value of that post has multiplied because of that quality of the network. So while I think if you can scale with the quality, great, but more than the numbers is the quality. You may have few hundred followers, could be very, very valuable for you depending upon what objective you want to meet. And in professional journey, being professional or being an entrepreneur, you may shift, your network stays with you. I have seen, people connecting with me or I connecting with them 3 years, then 5 years later, then 5 years, when they were in different business, I'm in different, I'm doing things differently. But because we were connected, there is so much we could do.
Oh,
So I think, yeah, if what is important is to ensure that you have a continuously having great network, nurturing that. You don't know how valuable it would be when. So if you can just take care of ongoingly creating credible network, it is bound to produce results for you.
got it. Makes a lot of sense. Actually, your network is your net worth, and
Yes.
especially applies for LinkedIn, wherein you are there to sort of get into that network. And I think for me, I was just out of my job and I thought, okay, I'll not be able to do anything and stuff like that. And I'll just stick to content writing. And then LinkedIn came into being. And I think I've been reached out by the best founders of India, well funded companies, just because of this platform, because of the kind of personal brand that has been built. I'm not sure how often a founder reaches out to you on Facebook or Instagram, but Twitter and LinkedIn are moving people in that direction. So, right. And after the pandemic, LinkedIn has transformed because people have realized the value that it's not just job, but freelancing, investment opportunities, and whatnot. So, yeah. And they've taken out LinkedIn top voices, and none of the LinkedIn top voices that I have noticed, at least so far, is into jobs. So it's no more a job platform. They're not even favoring jobs and everything. They're favoring entrepreneurs in general. All right. And it's not saturated and everything has been great so far and stuff like that. Was there any point in time when you felt the absolute high of your career while you were doing digital vidya or anything that you felt, okay, this just happened, oh my god?
I think there have been moments when we got really, fulfilled, satisfied. But saying that this is the best which could happen would be putting a lid on what could happen in the future. So I would say never felt that, but yes, like getting even first customer, first corporate customer, or when we partnered with Facebook, for example. Uh, like that, there have been many moments which were very, very satisfying, fulfilling. But acquiring, the nearest competitor, becoming part of your organization, like that, those are the things which also happen. But I would say it's never that, this is the best which could happen. But yes, otherwise, there have been many, many great moments in this journey, and we look forward to continuously having both, great moments and breakdowns with which we learn and then evolve. We
And
will be
I
part of.
can't wait to see your university coming out someday, because this course is so much in demand. I'm pretty sure now parents are going to push their kids towards digital marketing and marketing in general. And then I'm so sure that the conventional universities would be replaced by digital marketing universities. And I hope that you are the pioneer over there as well. And now this comes to an end, and I'll move to the rapid fire section, and it'll be really rapid. So, are you ready?
Sure.
All right. So, is it content or consistency? What matters?
I think it's being consistent.
Okay. If there was a book that you would have recommended to anybody watching this interview, or a series, or anything that you've come across, even a blog, what it would be and why should one consume it?
Okay, so I think one of the books I am currently reading, it's with me, Black Box Thinking.
Okay.
It's I'm halfway into it. It's a great book. Talks about how one can learn from mistakes. Giving
Okay.
an example, starting with example from aviation, how black box have been at the source of transforming the reduction in number of accidents in aviation industry. Various examples, personal life, professional life. I think it's a great book. I'm currently reading. It's a book I strongly recommend.
All right. What's one non-negotiable of your routine that you can't let go of? It can be workout, morning walks, meditation, anything.
Yeah, so I think I do pranayam every day. Weekends I normally not able to do, but definitely I think one thing which I would love to do always forever would be in morning 30-45 minutes of personal time in doing pranayam.
Okay. And do you ever break off from your work, or are you 24/7 in that mode?
No, no, not at all. So I get enough breaks. There is not too much of a pressure I live by.
Okay. And what's one piece of advice that you would give to any marketer or founders watching this right now?
Uh, Start, don't get fascinated by digital marketing by the platforms. The core for anyone to be successful in any kind of marketing, including digital marketing, is to be knowing your customer well. So that should be the focus. Who's
So
your
they are supposed
customer?
to nail their buyer's persona.
Sorry.
They are supposed to nail their buyer's persona.
Yeah, yeah. So you should know, right? If you know who they are, what they want, channels are easy. Channels will change, but that skill of knowing your audience will be always the asset.
All right. And what's one tip, advice that you have to leverage any of the platforms? Like if you're getting into this platform, if you're studying about this platform, probably read about the algorithm or test it out for yourself. Like what's one advice when people are getting into platform experimentation, marketing, trying to understand how to find their niche, their ideal platform? Like I never knew I would fall for LinkedIn so much, and I thought Instagram is the only thing that exists, but it didn't. And there's so much more. So what's one advice when somebody is exploring a platform?
So one, don't get too attached to it. We have seen, especially in today's world, especially in digital medium, platforms will change. So
Yeah.
if you put everything in one platform, then you're too dependent. It may change. Second, I think, as I said earlier, look into what's your objective, and who's your audience, what are they doing. Get them, understand them, depending upon what your objective is. If you want to have fun, you want to do something else, great. But if your objective is professionally to do well with some audience, then I think understand them, what they want, what are they doing, and then see what you should be doing versus what I can do.
Got it. Okay. And do you think Indian marketers are in general paid less than marketers abroad or something like that? And do you think does it matter which country you are in, because marketing is same? Like at least your skill set is same. Facebook works the same for me as for any marketer in US or so. So do you think
Okay,
we are underpaid, and do you also think it makes a difference where you belong to?
sure. So one, I think, of course, cost of living wise, there would always be a
Yeah.
difference. Develop, yeah. But leaving that aside, I would say the significant shift has happened. Like what it used to be in IT, you know, it took a lot of time for rest of the world, especially the developed world, to respect India as one of the best places. And I've seen people in India getting paid more than what people are paid in US in IT because that skill is being recognized. Marketing is in that journey, and digital has made a big role in that. We were never looked at, great marketeers,
Yeah.
but I think that concept, that is has already changed and in the process of changing. So that rapid shift is happening, I would say, and that's an opportunity. You are in India, you want to be recognized a leader in marketing by rest of the world. It's far more possible now what it used to be earlier.
Okay. And and you've talked about great partnerships that you've done so far with Facebook and some of the best banks and stuff. What made you get those partnerships? It was your networking skill, it was the actual tangible value that Digital Vidya was delivering, or was it something or the other? Like it's for all the new entrepreneurs who are not able to crack big things despite their product being great. What's the hack that you had?
Okay, so I think nothing shortcut. It didn't happen overnight. Uh, One of the things which we continued to do was we were at the center of the ecosystem. Right? So now we were creating talent for the industry. So agencies were looked at us as their friends. We did so many corporate programs. A lot of professionals started, learned Facebook being part of our programs, and they, moved places, doing phenomenally well. Many of them are entrepreneurs. Many of them are leading positions in industry. And even more important, because of the way we created the program, it became so important or it became valuable. So when I don't remember how it had happened with Facebook, so we partnered with Facebook, LinkedIn, and then Shopify, and there is a part of our program co-created with them. So Facebook had actually reached out to us for creating some content and training for them. Likewise, Google had reached out, and LinkedIn we were connected. So we talked. So I think one led to another, but these are various reasons why platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn became was happy to give
Partner.
us that blessings in terms of their brand to be part of our program, and we continue to work with them.
Got it. And this is my last question. And I've extended this interview a lot just because I had personal things to ask and I've asked almost everything. So my last question is, what is one quote, one line that you swear by, that has always kept you where you are, maybe grounded, maybe successful, maybe working on your mental health, internal health, whatever it is. What's that one quote or line that you always think about when things are not working the way they should?
And take on something you really enjoy, or you really are passionate about, and enjoy the journey. I think that's what I would say.
All right. It was by far one of the best hours that I've invested in this week. Thank you so much for doing this for Story and for me. I think somewhere, someday, when our paths will again cross, I'll let you know how much this interview has impacted. And I'm pretty sure all the audience that will be seeing this interview will be obliged. So thank you for doing this. Have a very, very nice day ahead.